Well, this is it, the final video in my arcade look back for the Virtual Console. And I've decided to end this on a special game that I remember loving in the arcade. Ninja Gaiden. Or Gaiden, whatever. Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of you out there that are very confused. You probably think that I'm talking about the insanely hard game that came out on the NES. Like a lot of the games that came out for the NES, they needed to change a lot of the things to make it feasible for the NES to run it. As it turns out, they changed pretty much everything in this version. But does that make it better or worse? Well, let's take a look. The story is about two ninjas coming from Japan to America to stop a guy named Bladimus from destroying the world. It would have been nice if they explained this to you in the in-between round cutscenes, but they were too busy showing us his vacation photos. Seriously? This is how you're going to advance the story. By showing the players that after kicking this ninja likes to drink some coffee or go sightseeing. In the beginning, you can see him coming to America. And after that, he comes busting through the screen. At first, I'm like, what? Do you know how much that's going to cost me to fix that TV? Then I was just glad that it didn't actually happen. It was just some awesome effect that wasn't cheesy at all. Most of the enemies that you come up against are all Friday the 13th Jason ripoffs. It's silly. Like any non-crazy American would ever take on two ninjas with a bulky hockey mask on. The visibility on that thing must just be awful. There are other kinds of enemies to come up against to fight, like other ninjas, blade-wielding, maldeformed freaks, or sumo wrestlers. You know, for a game that's all about two guys coming from Japan to visit America, there certainly are a lot of Japanese characters in it. Now, the graphics look nice for an arcade game in the time period. My only complaint is that I wish the characters were bigger. The controls are a bit tricky with the Wiimote, since there is a delay, and doing a special flying neck throw won't always work because of this delay. You can get it to work most of the time if you time your button push a bit early. Or you could just use the GameCube controller. That would probably just fix everything. I do have to say the jumping animation for the main character is hilarious. This ninja doesn't just jump up a little, he does a circus loop every time. When this guy jumps, he does it 100% without fail. That's what you call dedication. By far, the flying neck throw was my favorite move. Just because it was awesome to see him jump over someone and then stop in midair, grab the guy's neck, and then use gravity and his own weight to fling him. Even some of the largest enemies could be flung like that. When I saw him throw a huge sumo wrestler, I was like, damn! One of the coolest things I found in this game, totally by accident, I think this is the first title to have a Moonwalking Ninja. That's right, work those dance moves! This is a beat 'em up, and you take on enemies until you kill them all, and then you move on to the next part of the level. They change things up a little by changing the place that you battle. They go to all the iconic places in America, like New York, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. But it was amusing to see how the Japanese developers portrayed these locales. They were really over the top and ridiculous on the crime and the ugly looks of them, with the exception of LA, of course. This title can be played with two players simultaneously. There are unlimited credits, so the game can be beaten with two players in about 30 minutes. If you're playing solo, it's a lot more challenging, since if you die, you start off at the beginning of the stage and not where you left off, like in two-player mode. This one, though, has to have one of the most disturbing continue screens I have ever seen in an arcade game. It's your character strapped down, surrounded by demons, about to get sliced in half by a buzzsaw. That's a nice way to guilt the players into playing again. Add a quarter or this ninja gets slowly sliced in two. The only way this could be more screwed up was when the arcade machine hit zero, it would spray little mists of blood on you. Now, just like in 1942, you can adjust the screen size and the lives the characters have. Plus, in this game, you could increase the amount of health you had. Ninja Gaiden was fun, even after 20 years. However, if you download this game expecting the same kind of experience that you had with the NES version, you'll be disappointed. It's not a side-scrolling action platformer. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and it has a much slower pace than the NES version. But with that said, I do think it's worth the 600 Wii points. So download it now.